Positioned on high ground, Russian troops scanned the area for targets to engage. Unseen by them, a small Ukrainian unit was desperately trying to evacuate people from the same vicinity. In their rush to secure their gear and find a less exposed location, they were ultimately unable to avoid detection. After detecting the Ukrainian crew, a group of Russian mortar operators commenced a bombardment of their position without delay. Projectile did not impact the vehicle directly. However, it succeeded in igniting the ammunition reserves that the Ukrainian unit was tasked with recovering. Although they inflicted one casualty among the Ukrainian soldiers, the Russians deemed this outcome insufficient. Consequently, they began a rapid reload of their mortars to neutralize the target. The Ukrainian forces did not remain inactive. The element of the team positioned in the dugout swiftly utilized a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, to identify the Russian coordinates, intending to initiate a counteroffensive while enemy focus was diverted. During its transit to the primary target, the reconnaissance element identified a secondary target of opportunity. The Russians, believing they were operating from a secure rear position, had established a small ammunition point to resupply their mortar crews. Operating with a false sense of security, the Russian mortar crew maintained active fire, unaware that their capacity to sustain the attack was about to be neutralized. Concurrently, Ukrainian drone operators were formulating their counterstrike. As the Ukrainians prepared and deployed their FPV drones, the Russian forces, oblivious to the surveillance, consolidated their ammunition into a single location. They remained unaware that they were under direct observation and being methodically targeted by the inbound drone. If it weren't for the reconnaissance team, the FPV pilot would have never spotted this field ammunition depot. But thanks to accurate guidance, the drone operator now has a good chance to destroy not only the mortar shells, but also the stash of anti-tank mines that the Russians generously placed here. Viewers are encouraged to show their support for the exceptional performance of the Ukrainian soldiers. As the footage zooms out, it becomes clear that the Russian vehicle used for ammunition transport was also incapacitated by the blast wave, highlighting the effectiveness of the strike. The vehicle's crew recognized the peril of their situation mid-course and attempted to withdraw by reversing their direction. This maneuver, however, proved detrimental as the drone struck a critical weak point on the armor. Russian forces are progressively shifting from large column advances to deployments of smaller, dispersed groups. While this tactic often results in equipment losses during the approach, it occasionally proves effective. In this instance, a Russian armored vehicle successfully closed the distance to Ukrainian positions and initiated suppressive fire. Due to obstructed lines of sight from dense foliage, the Russian crew was firing without direct observation of the enemy, relying on chance to inflict casualties. Recognizing the indiscriminate nature of the fire and the risk of being encircled, Ukrainian soldiers who had been unable to fall back to fortified positions attempted a discreet withdrawal.
Братан, рухайся. Ще? Стріше, уходьте.
Believing their task was concluded, the crew of the armored vehicle decided to redeploy to a different location. Concurrently, the Ukrainian soldiers conducted a successful withdrawal from the sector.
Пішли, Влас. Давай, пішли, майор.
They then relayed to their commanding officer that hostile armored vehicles had been identified within their operational sector.
Быстрей.
The reconnaissance UAV has acquired the target and is maintaining close surveillance on the Russian vehicle's movements. In proximity to the road, the Russian crew identified a partially derelict hangar and determined it to be a suitable location for temporary concealment. The chosen hangar could have served as effective cover for the Russian vehicle, potentially ensuring its survival, but circumstances were not in their favor. A nearby Ukrainian brigade with expertise in complex tactical operations had a fiber optic guided drone prepared for deployment. The high-resolution video feed confirmed it was a specialized system, not a standard FPV drone. Once inside the hangar, signal obstruction was no longer a factor, affording the operator ample time to conduct a meticulous targeting process before initiating the attack. To maintain the integrity of the fiber optic cable connecting the drone to the control unit, the pilot maneuvered with deliberate slowness. Upon surveying the armored vehicle from the side, an open hatch was identified. This presented an optimal point of entry, which the pilot exploited with precision, guiding the drone directly inside. Further reconnaissance confirmed the initial target's destruction, negating the need for a second sortie. However, moments later, a new hostile armored vehicle was detected transiting a nearby village. The village's heavily damaged state presented a tactical opportunity to engage the target before it could secure a covered position. Consequently, Ukrainian drone operators prepared a subsequent wave of attack, this time deploying standard FPV systems to intercept the threat. The objective was to neutralize the Russian vehicle before it could ingress the village. Having ascertained the Russian APC's vector, the drone operator altered course for direct intercept of the armored vehicle. The initial strike successfully immobilized the target, but the mission was not yet complete. It was assessed that the crew had likely disembarked. However, the possibility of their return for recovery or repair efforts remained, as the armored vehicle was structurally sound. The objective for the subsequent drone was to inflict maximum damage. The target's stationary nature provided a tactical advantage, allowing for a precision strike. The operator successfully capitalized on this opportunity, and the resulting detonation caused the vehicle to ignite.
Талбот, що случилось? Що случилось?
Закурив не там, де треба.
Moments later, the growing blaze finds the vehicle's ammunition, triggering a catastrophic event. The Russian military maintains a quantitative advantage in multiple rocket launcher systems and LRS, which it employs extensively to disrupt Ukrainian life by striking both military positions and civilian population centers. After 4 years of full-scale conflict, however, Russian inventories of these systems have been considerably depleted. Consequently, the destruction of such high-value, now rarer assets by Ukrainian forces is regarded as a significant operational achievement.